Salon, why Salon? You with the nasty pastor, and we're back with another read from Enoch built the great pyramids of Giza. You know, so far this book, you know what I mean, is very enlightening. It's sort of, I say a good for real, 90% detail. I put a stamp on this is Satan. This is another name for that evil entity. You know, we have right now, we're in chapter 3, which the title of chapter 3 is Unveiling the Enigma of the Khufu Graffiti. Then, you know, we're going to get into chapter 4, which chapter 4 is called the Cornerstone. But the most beautiful chapter of all is chapter 5, Unveiling the Legacy of the Fallen Watchers. I believe that's going to be where we tap into the reality of knowing who Enoch really was, the purpose of Enoch upon this rock. You know, we know man rewrite history. We know man has rewritten the Holy Bible. We know man has tricked us into believing the Quran has never been rewritten. You get it? Has tricked us into believing the Quran has never been rewritten. And see, that's the thing about going against religion, going against anyone's religion. You get what I'm saying? Anyone's religion. You know, it was a time that every tool used to influence you to walk away from Jesus, you know, it was used, whatever could be said was used to take the African American man and woman away from Jesus. You feel what I'm saying? You know, they use everyone. And I'm not gonna sit here and say that some of the things they said wasn't how to say it, you know what I mean? Not so much saying that it was right, you get me? Not so much saying that it was right, but there is trickery in the Holy Quran. I mean, excuse me. There is trickery in the Holy Bible. You got what I'm saying? So, I'm never going to say that was wrong. You get what I'm saying? But to say that Jesus never walked this earth, you know, that's something wrong with you to even believe that. Because if you say Jesus never walked this earth, then Allah never walked this earth. You get what I'm saying? And it's time to really break some things down about Allah. You got what I'm saying? Because if we're dealing with Allah and the way I've been presented about who Allah is, you know what I mean? Allah can be the supreme creator. Allah can be another messenger as Jesus was. We know Moses was a messenger. We know Horus was a messenger. We know Jesus was a messenger. You feel what I'm saying? When I tap into that Holy Quran, it's going to tell me. You get me? When I tap into this Holy Quran, it's going to really tell me if this is the Old Testament. And if this is the Old Testament, what do you think I'm going to say? What do you think I'm going to do? You know, I broke some things down to you early to show you that this English version of the Quran, and it's spelled with the Quran one. You know, I didn't go too far in it to see talks of what the names are. To see talks of Jesus talks of Moses, talks of Abraham, talks of Lot. You know, it was a list of Jewish names that was talked about in this Quran. You get what I'm saying? So this right here, you know, is a translation reference Quran, and to tell me as a child, as a young man entering any type of source of religion, that the Holy Bible, the Christian Bible, the Baptist Bible, the Catholic Bible ain't hitting no mess was wrong. It was wrong. You get what I'm saying? It was wrong. And to be 55 years old, I don't want to talk to you about religion. I really don't. You know, I'm not going to say I've always been waiting, you know, but I've sat down with my uncle before, and we've sat down, you know, on a holiday. Farrakhan just on. You get what I'm saying? Just on. I'm in his daughter house, so it's not much I can say, much I can do, because sometimes, you know what I mean, boredom makes me say, you know something, don't listen to the man. You get me? Boredom. Go and listen to the man. And he still ain't talking about nothing. Nothing at all. Anyway, we're going to dive onto this another part of chapter 3, the unveiling of Khufu's graffiti. Let's dive into this. The role of Dr. Hawass, a prominent figure in Egyptian archaeology, comes under scrutiny. If he indeed investigated the Cartouche, the absence of a public disclosure about its authenticity raises eyebrows. The possibility that he may have uncovered evidence pointing to a modern forgery prompts us to explore the motivations behind the silence. The Great Pyramid hoax by Scott Creighton emerges as a pivotal reference, providing a meticulous examination of the original notebook of Howard Vise. Creighton's research uncovers contradictions between Vise's published work and his original notes, pointing to potential discrepancies in the narrative presented to the public. The detailed exploration of forgery possibilities, including the faking of quarry marks in situ, introduces a layer of complexity to the debate. Creighton's scrutiny of Vise's work and the potential involvement of individuals like Raven and Hill in the alleged forgery adds another layer to the tapestry of deception, mistakes, and inconsistencies identified by Creighton. Creighton offer a counter-narrative to the established view, urging readers to approach the evidence with a critical eye. As mentioned, the assertion that the Khufu graffiti does not end between blocks challenges the conventional timeline of its creation. If it can be painted and renewed at any time after the chamber was opened, the authenticity of the inscriptions takes on a new level of ambiguity. The accusations against Dr. Gorlitz and Erdman in 2013, just opposed with photographic evidence from Dr. Schuch in 2006, created a timeline of events that invites a closer examination of the circumstances surrounding the alleged damage to the cartouche. Now, the pictures that I'm looking at now, if you go check out the last reading, the previous reading, if you're viewing this, preview the past reading to catch these pictures. And you know, it's just like caveman drawings, to be honest with you. They're really not detailed, you know, very much detail in the drawings. For real, it's like when a chicken scratch when I write. For real, it's not very professional. You get what I'm saying? So if you're in a dark cave and you probably got a little light here and there and bam there, you know what I mean? But you could tell that it was not the graffiti was not done by the same people that done the hieroglyphs. And there had to be different people um, doing these hieroglyphs, you know, because you could see the professionalism in it. You got what I'm saying? You could see that it was made to be seen, you know, very, very detailed. This is written in red. This is like a this next picture is like a, it says Great Pyramid, but when you zoom out, the words get so blurry that I'm gonna just read what's in red. The deception of this CV, represented as a circle with 3 vertical or diagonal cross hatches, is clearly inaccurate. Moreover, this cartouche contradicts those found early in Lady Arbuthnot's chamber. While some may consider this incorrectly drawn, CV as inconsequential, I firmly believe it holds significant importance. In Pharaonic times, the pharaoh's names, being the king of Egypt, would never be misspelled in such a manner. The illustration below represents Khufu cartouche as discovered in Campbell's chamber and physically recorded in Colonel Vie's journal on May 27, 1837. Like, I want to say this to you again, and now this is evidence, you know, that no man, I don't believe nobody been in the Great Pyramids of Giza. You know, I just don't. Just telling me that they found blueprints. You understand me? So that's a guess to what's in there. They don't really know 100% if there's a king's chamber, a queen's chamber. They do know that there is a toxic gas because they have tried to go through this corridor to get through and they can't get no further. The gas, as you know, gas, that type of gas can break the glass. You get me? Can break the glass. Yes, can break the glass that that smoke, that smoke mask you put on to not smell it. You get what I'm saying? That gas mask you will put on to not smell it. Yeah, it can break it. To be honest with you, it will go through the inhaling process, the filtering process of the gas mask. You give me, you ever, look, I'm gonna say this to you once again. You know, I did it yesterday, you know, before we turned into the day. You know, I went and got some ammonia, went and got a little bleach. This time I did a dab. You get what I'm saying? And yeah, it started fizzing up in the tub. I didn't do it in a bucket. I did it in my tub. And it started fizzing up in the tub. And you know, I got the water running, cold water running. I'm getting the front of the tub, then I get to the back of the tub where the stuff at. I got to inhale because I got to breathe. It hit me, ooh. You get me? I go on out. I give it a minute, I go back in, the bathroom thick in the smell. You know what I mean? It's very thick in the smell. Then my eyes started, you know what I mean, getting watery. So the longer I would have stayed in there, what do you think that would have done to me? That is like a gas. You understand me? That is like a gas. So what do you think it would have did to me? Could have probably burned my eyes out. Could have started burning my skin if there's no ventilation system. You understand me? If there's no ventilation system, I could have been burnt, for real. You know, by a gas, which is fumes. You understand me? So I understand why scientists, archaeologists has publicly announced they have took drones in there. The drones didn't come back. You get it now? Yeah. The drones haven't even came back. So everything about the Great Pyramids of Giza, you know, it's a hypotenuse. It's an opinion. It's a direct understanding. There was something, the way I get it, a direct understanding that these pyramids was built to save lives, or these pyramids was built as a tomb of sacrifice through a genocide in our culture. Upon examining all the depictions of Carthage across the relieving chambers, noticeable discrepancies emerge. The inconsistency is particularly evident in the comparison between the photographed Carthage and Colonel William Howard Thy's description of the same Carthage discovered in May 1837. This inconsistency raises a significant concern on its own. Suspicion arises that at some point in time, someone may have forged the Carthage of Khufu in Campbell's chamber, along with the Carthages found in Lady Arbuthnot's chamber. Now, whoever these people are, let's go ahead on and look them up. You got one of them Khufu's in Campbell's chamber. So, that's too long. That's too long. I want to copy that. I don't want to highlight it. Well, let's do it this way. The Great Pyramids of Giza. Explain Campbell's chamber. The unexplored chambers of the Great Pyramid. The King's Chamber is the upmost of the three main chambers and is faced entirely with hard granite. The only object found in the King's Chamber is the sarcophagus of the blank blank. Okay, here's some type of evidence saying they went a little further, they went into these chambers, but they're saying this is a what? What are these archaeologists and these scientists saying? It's a forgery. It's fraud that they made public into the world to say that they went inside and they haven't. I rest my case about a lot of stuff, you know what I mean? I say this to you once again, you could be the dumb to believe this and to believe that and to sell your soul to the devil or even just give your soul to the devil. I can't. I just can't. You get me? I can't. All of this belong to the demiurge, belong to our moon, belong to whom I pray. All of this. I want to rest in heaven. You going on in your journey of hell and think you're coming back. You're not coming back. There's no reincarnation if you go to hell. There's no reincarnation. These some more pictures that say, let's examine the issues. It says, 1, various Carthages with different forms and spellings, such as Safu, Khufu, Sin, Hanfu, Rafu, Nim, Khufu, and Khufu were discovered, a potentially fraudulently inscribed in the relieving chambers, creating uncertainty about the true identity of the Great Pyramid's owner. Number 2, the hieroglyphic script used exhibits a semi-hieratic style, a practice not known until the Middle Kingdom. Number 3, despite the absence of funerary text, hieroglyphics or frescoes depicting the Great Pyramid as a tomb. A structure of such magnitude lacks customary elaborate decorations associated with ancient Egyptian burial rituals, raising questions about its intended purpose. Come on now, raises questions about its intended purpose. That's right. The lack of physical evidence supporting the entombment of a mummy in the stone coffer and the absence of customary artifacts within the pyramid challenge the conventional understanding of its use as a burial site. The absence of inscriptions or designs on the exterior of the coffer is discussed in detail on the following page. Number 6, Nathaniel Davidson discovery of the first relieving chamber in 1765, 72 years ago, before Colonel Vyse did not yield hieroglyphic inscriptions. Strikingly, all of the chambers above Davidson's chamber discovered by Vyse are the only ones containing hieroglyphic inscriptions within the Great Pyramid. This raises questions about the significance of this coincidence. Number 7, the presence of the most crucial cartography of Khufu in Campbell's chambers, as drawn by Vyse during the discovery, contrasts with the current depiction painted on the chamber's wall. The addition of 3 cross hatches inside the circle resembling a sieve in the contemporary cartography raises suspicion of potential fraudulent restoration or alteration. And this is the ending of these numbers, and it just says this right here: the Great Pyramid did not serve as a tomb, and the granite coffer did not point to any tomb or burial suggestion. Now, I say this like I said to you before. You know, if they did get down in there, they went as far as they could go. You get me? They went as far as they could go, where the gas that is preventing them from going further is the most thickest. They couldn't go nowhere else. You understand what I'm saying? Nowhere else. You get it? So I just say this to you once again, you know what I mean? There are some things in history that's going to take you down a whirlwind of confusion. Just because you don't understand it, just because there's no relevant evidence, does not mean Enoch won't save you. Does not mean these pyramids weren't built to save Satan. Does not mean there was not a mass genocide in Upper Africa, ancient Egypt, in Kemet during the time of Khufu's reign. It doesn't mean that. It can mean that. It can mean everything I said it doesn't mean to. You get what I'm saying? But where's the evidence to prove anything? Anything. You get me? Anything. This right here is probably one of the biggest mysteries you probably ever going to find that is public. You get me? That is public in our culture. You get it? In our culture. Cleopatra comes after Khufu. So there are some things that burnt in that library that could have explained the Great Pyramids of Giza. Could have explained the Great Pyramids of Giza, because history was passed down on a papyrus leaf, on a papyrus sheet of what we call paper. You feel me? You get me now? So there's a big mystery, a cliffhanger that is going to always be presented in our culture. Let's take our time. Let's use the tools whom we pray to have graciously given us, and that is patience, that is understanding, that is being able, you get me, being able to think, T-H-I-N-K, think, rational, unrational, and however in the middle of all of it. You get it? However, in the middle of all of this. Look, I'm going to get up on this chapter, read right here. Like I said, use your brain before you make an anal out yourself. Use your brain and stop allowing others to hand feed you information that they don't even stand on, but they want you to stand on it. You've been with the nasty pastor. I'm out and I love you.